Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, looking at the classes, subclasses, all the player options that you find within, and talking about how they've shifted since 2014. Today, we're moving on to the Clerics. A lot of folks, when they first get into D&D, especially if they haven't played other TTRPGs, think of the cleric similar to you would in a video game, a healer, someone who is a support character. But I'm here to tell you right now that clerics are that and so much more. Clerics are actually one of the most well-rounded characters in all the game. They can wear heavy armor, wield martial weapons, stand on the front lines. They've got great healing and support power in their magic, but they've also got really powerful blasting spells, some battlefield control, a good amount of utility. It's all built in. And today we're talking about possibly the most classic type of cleric, the true healer, the life domain. That's right, the life domain will always be there so that any party that's been absolutely brutalized by enemies will be able to pick them back up and bring them back into the fights. And any cleric can do that, but not as well as the life domain. But does that make them the best cleric? We'll get into the details of the subclass in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's down there next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badges. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just being here and watching the video, liking, subscribing, is a wonderful way to support me. I'm thinking very soon that I'm going to be opening up a Discord for my channel, people who watch my channel. Probably going to have a free access one that anyone can get into and chat about D&D, and maybe throw in a VIP chat room for the members. If this idea sounds fun to you, let me know in the comments. I'm looking into it right now. But anyway, thanks for watching my content here on YouTube. So, the Life Domain Cleric. Unlike the prior rules in 2014, now clerics choose their subclass at level 3 like everyone else. So, at level 3, the first thing you get is your domain spells. All clerics get this. And they're just a bunch of spells you have automatically prepared for you. They don't count against your spells prepared, so they're just always there. You get some great ones from the Life Domain. Cure Wounds, Lesser Restoration, Bless, Mass Healing Word, Revivify, Greater Restoration, even Aura of Life. There's really, really solid spells on here, and I give the list as a whole 9 out of 10. Most of these are ones that the clerics would be packing anyway, but this frees up other options for you to choose, and in and of themselves, they're all really good. You also get the Disciple of Life feature. What this does is, when you cast a spell with a spell slot, that's important, that restores hit points to a creature, that creature regains additional hit points. The additional hit points are 2 plus the spell's level. So, for Cure Wounds, which heals 2d8 plus your spellcasting modifier, which is probably about 12 hit points at this level, this will add 3 to that, making it an even 15. And if you were to start casting higher level spells, it doesn't scale super fast. A 5th level healing spell gets 7 hit points added. This would work well for something like Mass Healing Word, where you're healing everyone for a little bit, and all those creatures get extra. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't continuously do this. It specifically says on the turn you cast the spell. So if this is a healing effect that lasts over time, it doesn't happen every single turn, just the first one. It's not a lot of extra healing, and the spells have actually become more potent. Healing Word and Cure Wounds and others like them have actually been buffed since 2014. And this hasn't, so I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. It's not nothing, but it's not much, and it gets outscaled pretty fast. The final thing you get at level 3, we're still at level 3 here, is your Channel Divinity Preserve Life. As an action, you spend a magic action and expend a use of your Channel Divinity, and you heal a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. At this point, that would be 15, and it goes up relatively fast, healing for a good amount in the later game. You can choose any creatures that are bloodied. So that's creatures that are at half hit points or less within 30 feet of you, and you can restore creatures up to half their hit points. So you wouldn't actually use this in a top-off sense. You would use this in a critical moment when a bunch of people are really hurting, and you want to just put a crap ton of hit points out there, and you don't want to use a spell slot. It's a decent channel divinity. I've seen it used to great effect. With one action in the late game, you can throw down 70, 80, up to 100 hit points, which is a fair amount for a channel divinity charge. I give Preserve Life 8 out of 10. Now, level 6 comes along, and you get the power Blessed Healer. When you cast healing spells on others, you also heal yourself. Immediately after you cast a leveled spell, so with a spell slot again, healing a creature other than yourself, you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So once again, if you're casting a Cure Wounds, you're casting for, 12 or 13 hit points, and they're going to get a buff of 2 plus the spell's level, which would be 1, and so will you. You'll also get a quick little 3 hit points back for doing that. Again, this gets outstripped pretty fast. You're already level 6. Every time you throw a healing word out to pop someone up, giving yourself 3 hit points isn't going to be huge. That's not going to make the difference most of the time. I mean, if you were unconscious, it would, but usually you're not at this point, because you're the one casting the healing spell. So once again, I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. Not useless. It's going to top you off over time, but it kind of makes the player want to constantly be casting healing spells, which isn't the most efficient use of your magic. So yeah, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. Finally, at level 17, when you get the capstone, that's right, an 11-level gap in the Cleric subclasses. Thankfully, they get a lot of features from their class. But anyway, level 17, Supreme Healing. When you would normally roll dice to restore hit points to a creature with a spell or your channel divinity, or whatever, instead of rolling, you can just use the highest number possible. So you max the dice. Effectively, again, Cure Wounds as the example. You cast Cure Wounds, it's 2d8 plus your spellcasting modifier. By this point, that would be 5, I'm sure. But you cast the 2d8. Normally, that would average to 9 plus 5. That's 14 hit points for a first level Cure Wounds. But when you use Supreme Healing, it's not an average of 9. It's just the 2d8 maxed. So that's 16 plus 5. Turning that 14 on average to just a flat 21, plus your Disciple of Life. And this applies to all healing spells. This is the sort of thing that when you, cast long-term healing spells that last, for turn after turn, you can just maximize all of those dice, and that adds up quickly. This is the feature that at the late game will take decent healing spells and make them over-channeled so that the whole party after a fight can just go back to full health without needing a short rest, as long as you've got the spell slots to support or whatever. I think that this is, once again, a good feature. I just don't know whether or not it's usually necessary. The battles of attrition aren't that common in D&D. Most characters at the highest levels are, relying on short rests. They're relying on features like that to get them back into the fight. And this is the sort of power that will absolutely save the party once in a while. In those longer, kind of real dungeon crawl slogs that just really push on and drain your hit points to the max. I give the feature 8 out of 10 because you're not going to use it all the time. You're going to use it once in a while, and it will save the day once in a while. So 8 out of 10. Overall, the Disciple of Life is okay. I think that the Life Domain Cleric is a decent subclass. It empowers the thing that you want to do with clerics, which is heal, but it doesn't empower anything else. Like, you can't, it doesn't empower your damage, it doesn't empower your defenses, it doesn't add temporary hit points, it doesn't do any sort of mitigation. It is all reactionary, it is all about healing, which is why you'd be a life domain cleric, I suppose. It's just that healing isn't the most efficient way to play a cleric. Being a heal bot, which just constantly heals, like in World of Warcraft or some other games, where you're just keeping the tanks topped off, isn't a good use of your spells. Usually those spells are better used to destroy the enemies, because you don't have to heal anyone if they're not getting hurt. And that is where your spell slots and your actions are better used, is to attack. Offense makes the best defense. And the life domain cleric is just making the bad situation of not killing the enemies fast enough and them hurting you a little better. I give the overall subclass 8 out of 10 because it absolutely does power up healing and provides a fantastic spell list that leans into it. I mean, you're not going to die if you've got a life domain cleric in your party. I mean, not easily anyway. But there are better clerics out there, and ones that certainly would give more power to the party. This just feels like a secondary way to play. But if this is what you want to do, the life domain is certainly going to do it for you. Not many other clerics can heal like this, or nobody really can. So yeah, I give this subclass 8 out of 10. Decent, very good at what it does. What it does isn't the strongest thing in the world. 8 out of 10. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.